Kazanmak için önce kafanın ferah olması gerekir. Mücadele stresli, koşullar zorluysa yeni Head & Shoulders Men spor ferahlığı. İlk kullanımdan itibaren %100'e kadar kepek koruması ve benzersiz mentor ferahlığıyla sen de kafanı ferahlat, kazanmaya başla. Ben bu kafayla daha çok kazanırım. Yeni Head & Shoulders Men spor ferahlığı. Kazanmak kafada başlar.
Sport ekranından herkese merhaba. Fenerbahçe Beko Final Four Medya günündeyiz ve yanımızda koç Šarūnas Jasikevičius var. Coach, once again, hello. It's nice to be here with you in this environment. And personally, this is actually the 6th Final Four Media Day for you in a row. So, how are you feeling?
Well, you know, we don't like to do all this media stuff.
I know.
But at the same time, it's the thing that you prefer doing. That means you made it to the Final Four. It's a good problem to have. So let's hope all the problems in life will be like this. You know?
Coach, this was the longest season yet with 20 teams.
Yeah.
It took a lot of effort, physically and mentally for everyone, I believe. To finish this off with Final Four achievement is even more important, I guess, than ever. Am I right?
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, you know, at the end, like you said, the season is even longer. The goals are the same. No, we're trying to get the home court advantage as the season goes on. You try to win the playoff series. Now you're in Final Four, and you know it's the next step. So this is what we're looking forward to right now.
And a lot of coaches didn't survive the season, like half of the coaches by the end of the regular season. And we might even have other, you know, news of these by the end of the actual season. How are you finding all this pressure of coaches in this new schedule?
I think it's nothing to do with the coaches.
Yeah.
I think it's to do with society.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for excuses. Everybody's looking for reasons. Not too many people looking at themselves. You know, if I don't know how many owners in this situation stepped out and they said they made mistakes. How many general managers came out and said, I just had a bad summer. You know, nobody is taking responsibility for this. Head coach is only one. It's very easy to blame when it's just one person. It's easy to fire one person versus a lot of them and a lot of the players or a lot of management people. And for me, the biggest reason is society. We are becoming extremely soft society where everything is so sensitive, everything is so, I don't know. I think soft would be the correct word, you know.
I think I understand your point. It is more like a social media driven society as well. People think too much about others' ideas, thoughts about them. How are you protecting your children from this, coach? You have your son playing basketball, and this is incredibly bullying environment.
I mean, you know, the children, it's gonna come to them. We're trying to talk to them about things.
Yeah.
This is the most we can do. My children were the last ones to receive the phones from all their classmates, you know, when they were small. My kids will be the last ones to have the social media. They are at the age of the TikTok. Yes, they like it. You know, just talking with them. What else we can do? You know, I understand that they are surrounded by friends who I said, but you know, like we said, for me to think that somebody can influence my life who's on the other end of the phone, I have no idea who he is. To be honest with you, so many of the criticism and bad messages come from the burner accounts and things like this, so you don't even know if these people exist actually. So it's a joke really, but unfortunately this is where we are.
Yeah, it's a different world right
Yeah.
now. Comparing to you 20 years ago while
Yeah.
you were playing at your peak. Coach, this year came with a lot of changes, of course, for you, with some players leaving. You started playing more, you know, with handoff options than post-up options. What kind of a challenge was this to, you know, create an efficient plan?
I mean, you know, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time, it takes effort from the players, from the coaches. Is a situation where you try to, you know, build over the time. Obviously, you don't have time, but it's a different team, different players, different everything, and we need to adjust to our players and what they can do in the best way possible.
And especially when you have a target on your back as the last champion and with 3 rookies in the roster,
Yeah.
it doesn't make it any easier as
Yeah.
well, right?
Well, I think 3 rookies is one thing. The target on your back is another thing. I think the guys understood it in the preseason. When in the preseason, actually in this very gym, when the teams are coming at you with incredible energy, and we are still laughing and joking because we're happy from the year before. So some guys understood it very quickly. Some guys it took longer. It was another one of those challenges, how to get going.
Coach, it's rare that a signing works so well in the first year, and Talon has become one of those rare examples. I remember in the first part of the season, in the first few months, I talked to Darya once, and he was like, he will be much better because he's like the hardest worker in the practice, and he's a good student. And how was his approach coming in from the first day?
Well, I think his approach is always, how to say, is a product of the environment. I mean, he come from one environment, he needs to get to another one, whether it's environment coming from me, whether it's environment of the European basketball, the games of EuroLeague, the environment of the Turkish league. So you need to adjust to these environments, and sometimes it was difficult for him, especially at the beginning. And okay, slowly, like you said, first of all, he has this incredible quality of getting to the basket that nobody has in European game, and so slowly again you try to work with him, you're trying to introduce him to the details and stuff like this. Some things he picks up better, some things worse, but yeah, like you said, overall we're so happy to have him.
Coach, you were talking about the different environments, and the environment of the locker room also included in this, right? Because this year it looks even more healthier than before, maybe. Where would you, put this team in terms of healthy locker room?
No, I think they like each other. Like each other. They spend
That helps.
They spend time. Yeah, I think this is what for me is extremely important. How they can get along with one another, because it will translate into the court for sure. And so I was telling them when they were ready to sign, you're coming into the very good locker room, and the guys, the veteran players who've been in Europe will help you a lot to understand what you are going through, because these guys, they went through the same things a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, well, glad that they listened, and the locker room, like you said, it's something we should be very proud about.
Coach, you sometimes go for small ball. It was with Nigel last year at 5. This year, Tarık at 4 in some situations. I think he does more lately. I mean, when you have him in that situation, what does that change for you in terms of spacing?
Well, I mean, it's for sure you become faster, more offensive. You lose something on the rebounds, you lose something in physicality, you go smaller. So it's just whatever the team needs at this particular moment.
Mm-hmm. But he learned to be more physical, like he goes for the ball screen more, and he can roll. He's more than a shooter right now, right?
Yeah, I think this is the point. No, I think if the player is standing in the same spot as as who he was, I mean, this is why we work every day. And you need to come and you need to improve and you need to get better. If you're standing in the one spot, the others will simply pass you. So this is the laws. This is the laws of life, not the laws of basketball.
And in Europe, when you have guys so dedicated to the club, like Tarık is, the fans even love that development and improvement even more. And from when you first came to the team 2.5 years ago and to now, Tarık has become this huge star. So what else do you expect of him?
No, I think I expect even more, to be honest with you. That's why I said, for me, for sure, he's not a finished product. For me, there's a lot of things he can improve. One of the most important things right now would be how to be consistently Tarık Biberovic, because I think the sign of the great player is the one that is there every single day, without up and downs. So for me, it's for sure it's not a finished product yet.
Yeah, Coach, am I wrong to say that you developed a special relationship with Wade Baldwin?
No, I think I understand him more. I understand what kind of person he is. We are both not easy people to deal with at times, and at the same time, it's my job to take the best version of him, to understand him the most. So, yes, I have my ways dealing with him, but I understand him, a lot more, and that comes from second year being together.
Coach, I don't know if it's an organic thing that happens it happened for you when you were in Maccabi. You were a starter, but when you were in Panathinaikos in later years, you were coming off the bench more. And this is happening over here with Wade. He was a starter for Maccabi. Right now, he's the leader of the second unit. What kind of a phase has this been?
I think in European basketball, there's no such thing as a starters.
Especially not anymore, I guess.
I think starters in European basketball are the ones that are finishing the games, and that's how I like to look at it. Basically, it's not really important. There's so many factors go in. Who starts the game and who doesn't. But the most important is who finishes the game, and he's almost always finishing the games.
Yeah, he was just over here saying that as long as I finish the game, I don't mind how I start or not.
But I think this is the starters, the ones who finish the games.
That's true, that's true. And Coach, as everyone had their ups and downs during season, Wade had them too. How different is it to manage these ups and downs with him?
Well, I think, you have to understand the player. The player needs to understand what are his expectations in this club. We're trying to shoot for the highest goals, and we're trying to play all the most important games of the season, and everything that we do on a daily basis is geared up for that. It's not that we can go now 5 days before the Final Four and start inventing things. It's the reasons why we're working for 9 months, 8 months. So.
Coach, I'm talking about managing these situations. At the same time, during the season, there's this problem. When you are trying to get everyone on the same page, fighting for a goal, there are rumors out there, written as news, that one certain player will not be signed for next year and stuff like that. What kind of atmosphere does that create for you during you are fighting for a goal in the season?
Listen, at the same time, you cannot really pay attention to all the rumors. Majority of them are not true anyway. And whichever way the European basketball is built, we don't have a clear rules about the signing. When is the signing period? When is not the signing period? When you can talk about the players. So we used to sign the players in June. Last 10 years, it was the Final Four. It seems like now it's already even earlier than that. So this is just the nature of the business. If you cannot deal with it, you cannot be in this business.
Yeah, the market has changed such drastically, I guess.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
It is hard for coaches to plan because you wait for NBA players. Players are waiting to go to the NBA maybe, and that changes things like it happened with Nigel.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of best players in Europe will have an NBA out, and they go until July. By the end of the July, European market is finished, and then you find yourself improvising. And then ultimately, like we spoke at the beginning, the coach will take a fall for this. But it's not most likely it's not the coach's fault, but it's an easy target.
Coach, how many active players are there left in EuroLeague that was playing at the same time you were playing on the court? I don't know, but you got two of them here, Nando De Colo and Nicola Melli.
Yeah, for sure. This is the players that for me is the closest to my mentality, is the closest to my way of thinking. It's very difficult to find these players right now.
Yeah.
We are searching for them like crazy, and it's incredibly, fortunate to have two guys like this.
If it wasn't for Nando, you were not expecting to sign someone to his position, right?
Well, we understood that we need some kind of player like this, so we were searching. It's not a surprise that we were searching, and when Nando was available, we decided to go for it for sure.
A legend, that signed during the season with a second team. That's the first time ever happened in his career, and he made it to Final Four for the first time with Fenerbahçe, which was something he was feeling a bit upset about from his previous time. So, how is this, special to share with?
Yes, it's amazing.
Guy?
Like I always said, if we talk, a little bit, big words, Nando already wrote incredible book, about his career and everything. We just a part of the last chapter, and this is what, it's nice to see. It's incredible. And when you see him practice and go about his business every day, you understand why he's who he is. He's just basically into daily work.
Coach, the last 9 rounds of the regular season, you had 7 defeats, which got the fans a little bit worried before the playoffs. Was it like a physical fatigue or a mental fatigue at that point?
I think it's a combination of everything. It's the combination of injuries. It's the fact that at some point we were 3 wins up from the second place. The guys started practicing bad, and it was very difficult to motivate them. And sooner or later, you're going to go down. And this is just the nature of every business. If as soon as you lose your guard, you're going to go down, and this is exactly what happened. And it's a little bit of the human nature.
Coach, do you know who is the only guy that haven't missed a game in EuroLeague?
We haven't missed a game. Is it Kim?
Yes, it is Cam, and he steps up big time when it's necessary.
Yeah. Cam is one of those. He feels the big moments. He will leave everything on the court. In the game 4 in Kaunas, he could not even pass the half court. I mean, the video when we watching with the staff was so funny. He literally could not walk from one side of the court until another, was just standing there. Probably didn't even understand where he's at this point, but like you said, he always leaves it on the court.
And that's Žalgiris series. I mean, the main goal was to limit Cisco and not allow him to go to his right side comfortably. The series started that way. In the third game, maybe he was a bit comfortable doing that, but how successful do you think you were on that job?
It was incredible. I think what the guys did it. Not only defending him, it was a great job. Made things difficult for him, also attacking him offensively. So yeah, it was a job really well done.
Yeah, Talon going to the basket is scary sometimes, and they couldn't prevent him from going there. And game 4, it was Wade Baldwin's crucial shot, which is like crazy that he has done such a thing, like second time in the season. And Talon's overtime performance. Is this the best backcourt in the league?
Well, I think it's one of them for sure. This is what we're striving for. I mean, we cannot forget Devon and Nando that have huge role, and I think sometimes Tariq is going there. So yeah, I mean, we're extremely happy with that. This is a little bit of the philosophy that we have to have really, really strong guards, because a lot really depend on them.
Coach, I've been to Kaunas before, but that was the first playoff environment I have witnessed, and it was lovely. It was like I wasn't scared for my life for the first time ever, because when I'm in Athens, I'm actually scared for my life to give any reaction away. But it was pure basketball joy for me. And the third game, the banner of you and Thomas Masulis, Kaunas born dictating European basketball. How did you feel when you saw that?
I mean, it's incredible honor. You feel really good. At the same time, you're trying not to get emotionally involved in this, and you're trying to focus on whatever your job requires. Afterwards, seeing everything on the pictures and the social media, I mean, it's impressive. It's just what kind of city Kaunas is, really.
Yeah, and I mean, you are prepared, to face the hate when you go on the road, but you're not prepared for this much love, I believe. Maybe this is like something that messes with the head more.
Yeah, we just, like you said, it's a little bit unexpected. At the same time, they always treat me so amazing when I go home. Everybody, from the streets to the places that I go. Obviously, my family lives there, and it's really nice. But this was really crazy.
And how special was that to share with Coach Masulis? Because you are the same age.
Yeah.
You probably went to school together, right?
No, we're friends since we were 6, 7 years old, before the school even.
So this must have been beyond your dreams.
Yeah, like you said, but at the same time, you're just trying to be as cold as you can, because, you own it to your team, you own it to your organization. I mean, it was very nice. I try not to look at it. I knew before the game that there was something there about, part of it was me. They prepared me. And, you're trying to do your job. Like I said, at the same time, I'm forever grateful.
Coach, I watched The Other Dream Team, a great sports documentary about Lithuanian basketball like 10 years ago, and it made me understand it more, the love you have over there and basketball turning into a festival a lot better, because it's part of a nation's story that got you to freedom. So how did it paved the way for you when you were in 90s going to
huge.
school in America?
It was huge for me, and actually, it changed me a child motivation. No? As a child, let's say I was always known to be pretty talented, but not exactly dedicated. Always on the joker side. With this one, I got the opportunity for the first time to play for the Lithuanian national team. When I got to start travel around the continent and everywhere to compete in European championships and things like that, it brought, an incredible sense of pride and also at the same time opportunity. It was like opportunity that we are seeing all over the world. At this point, we understood, the importance of independence and to express ourselves in a way basketball. And as far as the team sports, I mean, we don't have anything else in the team sports other than basketball, so it's a huge national pride, and obviously we caught up with it, and it was just difficult to understand this as a child. Now obviously the feelings are extremely patriotic and so on and so on. As a child, you take things for granted.
Yeah, I would recommend everyone to watch that because it's on YouTube. Go and watch that great documentary, please, to understand more about Lithuanian basketball. And the time for Final Four. Coach, we know the opponent is going to be once again against the Greek team in the semi-final. How are you feeling going into that?
Good. I think it's not important who opponents is. At the same time, we're trying to focus on ourselves, trying to prepare the best way possible. The Žalgiris series took a lot out of us, and it's really difficult to get into, the things again, and yet we have to do it. We have to practice good. We have to play the Turkish league games. Obviously, we had a very bad performance, against Beşiktaş over there, and let's see if we can get back into the mode of the Final Four now.
Coach, they are playing at half court, but they pass the ball with high tempo, and they have this great ball movement with everybody. So, of course, your priority will be to stop this, but how?
Okay, let's see. Certain situations you need to address. Certain situations you need to take some risks. At the same time, like I said, the most important is to be yourself and to leave everything on the court.
When they're passing from side to side like that, it takes a lot of effort on defensive end of the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're number one team in the EuroLeague. They're number one team offensively. It's a Final Four. It's supposed to be difficult. We have to deal with it the best way possible. Everybody knows how to deal with them, but it's very difficult to put it on the court. So let's see if we can put it on the court.
You have 2 guys in all EuroLeague team. They have 3 guys in all EuroLeague team. This is going to be an amazing matchup. But about the MVP of the season, how do you limit a guy that doesn't dribble the ball all that much?
Well, I think this you cannot. You cannot. You just need to make things as difficult as possible to him. You need to make his numbers a little bit lower. Just you need to win something from every corner in order to beat this team, and I think we will be ready. But let's see if we can do it.
And were you surprised that Valencia was the last team in the Final Four?
Well, I think Valencia is number 2, Panathinaikos is number 7. Valencia is more consistent over the course of the year. Before the series, I thought they were probably going to go 5. Obviously when it becomes 0-2, not a lot of people will put their money on Valencia, and just shows the incredible character, incredible coaching that they have over there. So like I said, everything changes. The way you think about the series will be so fast, from one game to another. Like I said, who would have thought from 0-2 they will come back? I mean, it's incredible.
I don't know if it is the biggest surprise that they are not there, but it is the biggest upset that Panathinaikos isn't there. But maybe Fenerbahçe fans will be able to find more tickets to the Final Four.
Yes, I don't know. It seems like it, obviously, for Panathinaikos fans being there. I mean, they would have played at home. Let's see who wins the tickets battle.
I mean, if Panathinaikos fans still come and watch those games over there, they will support their legend, Šarūnas Jasikevičius, for sure.
Yeah, for sure they will not support Olympiacos.
For sure. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the luck, and I hope you're healthy and ready.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Koç Šarūnas Jasikevičius'la sohbetimizi noktalandırdık. İzlediğiniz için çok teşekkürler. Hoşçakalın.
Kazanmak için önce kafanın ferah olması gerekir. Mücadele stresli, koşullar zorluysa yeni Head & Shoulders Men spor ferahlığı. İlk kullanımdan itibaren %100'e kadar kepek koruması ve benzersiz mentor ferahlığıyla sen de kafanı ferahla, kazanmaya başla. Ben bu kafayla daha çok kazanırım. Yeni Head & Shoulders Men spor ferahlığı. Kazanmak kafada başlar.